Welcome to my channel. Let's relearn the easy way, a wonderful platform to learn new things. All and every business letter is sent out by the business house is considered as business letter. Business letters are important to communicate a message on the record. These letters can be held as an evidence in case of dispute arises about a certain topic in the future. Business letters are an important part of business and should be written with the utmost care. Mistakes in such letters can be costly and can damage the reputation of the business. Everyone would like to be perfectionist in writing business letters. So here I have brought a wonderful tutorial. Friends, in this video, we'll be focusing on the purpose of this business letter, different types, and the relevant examples along with do's and don'ts of the business letter. So watch till the end to be the perfectionist in business writing. My attempt is to enable you to write perfect business letters in a professional manner. Letters may serve to introduce your qualifications, skills to the prospective employer, deliver important or specific information, or serve as a documentation process for an event or a decision. As the today's business process is concerned, it has become very complex and dynamic in nature. Various stakeholders have their own roles as well as their own demands, as shown here. Letters can be very handy in comprehensive management of the business process. Friends, today's business process has become so complex and dynamic in nature, and letters can serve various aspects at different levels of hierarchies. So here we can see the personal correspondence. We need to have a financial correspondence. There is a need of managing the inventory. There is a purchase order. You can see a lot of stakeholders are involved here. We need to manage the logistic and supply chain management. There is a need to cater the group dynamics. Filtration process involves. There is a production. There we need to focus more importantly on the customer support or the sales. After the sales, we need to have the service prominently. We need to analyze the business objectives, and then for that we need to have the strategic level, and for all these stakeholders are contributing towards the success of the business, and in that these business letters play a prominent role in managing the success. As of the business letters are concerned, there are two types of business letters. The type of the letter depends on the purpose of the writing and the relationship with the receiver of the letter. First is the informal. Informal letters are considered to be friendly and personal letters. They are written when the writer has a non-professional friendship with the receiver. This type of letter format is usually written for the communication between two parties. Informal letters are usually longer than the formal letters. Next is the formal letter. They are usually written from one business house to the another. They are to the point and usually are short in nature. They are written between the two companies. Next, moving on to the formats, we know that there are globally accepted standardized formats, and here there are three important formats. One is the full block, one is the modified block, and then the semi-indented block. One can use any of these standard formats. Friends, letters are not just part of the process. They are persuasive in nature. The persuasive letter is a letter written to convince an organization or a person to accept the issue of the author. Here, the interest or the perspective of the author is to be understood. It can be written for any kind of organization, that is for the schools, banks, colleges, NGOs, municipality, and etc. A person can be a director, CEO, government official, etc. The purpose of the persuasive letter of persuasion is to complete your work for a common man. As these letters are of core importance, you need to be very, very careful. Hence, you need to follow a formula called as AIDA. The first paragraph should be focused on the attention of that, so that the attention of the individual is essentially required to be grabbed. The second paragraph is talking about the interest. Herein, in the second paragraph, you should be able to create interest in the reader's mind. Coming back to the next, with respect to the interest should be transformed into the desire, so that The fourth paragraph can induce an action of cells or a particular type which you are essentially required into. So here let us write different types of letters. Here I am going to give you number of tips. So watch till the end. And do subscribe my channel. Let's relearn by Santosh Teranimat. Please share it. Give your positive comments. They are very valuable for me. Friends, in this first part, we'll be covering various aspects of business letters. So first we'll be talking about personal business letters, wherein we'll be focusing on cover letter, job inquiry letter. Into the next part, we'll be talking about the sales letters, wherein we will be touching upon purchase order, letter of adjustments, letter of dispatch. Folks, we'll start with the cover letter, which is very essential for the freshers. Basically, it's a business letter typically sent with your resume when applying to a job. While not all the employers require a cover letter, it's a great opportunity to explain your professional experience, qualification, and interest in the company and the respective job. An effective cover letter will enhance your application and increases your chances of landing into the interview process. Here, it is intended to provide the detailed information on why you are a qualified candidate for the job. As if the cover letter is concerned, there are essential parameters which are required to be mentioned into cover letter, and that goes like this: the contact information. It is of a vital importance, usually written on the top of the cover letter, which includes your name, phone number, and email address to ensure the reader knows how to contact you after reviewing your application. Next is the salutation. Friends, you must begin the letter by addressing the person to which you are writing the letter. This person may be the hiring manager, department head, or other company representative identified in the job listing. Use a gender-neutral greeting such as Dear Santosh. If you are unsure of their name, use the most relevant job titles such as Dear Hiring Manager, Dear Recruiter, etc. Don't mention to whom so it may be concerned, as it may appear as outdated. Going ahead with the purpose of the letter, it is the introduction, wherein you need to discuss why you are writing by mentioning the job title, the company name, and where you found this job listing. Showcase your research on the job and the company by expressing specific interest in both, explaining why you were drawn to the job posting and what interests you to about this particular organization. Next, we'll be focusing on qualifying skills. In the body of the letter, highlight the specific skills that make you a strong candidate for the present opening. Your cover letter should complement your resume. So, build off the information in your resume to provide more specific details of your professional experience. If possible, include a brief information that represents your relevant skills, experience, and qualities from the employer's job description. Next is the conclusion. You need to end your cover letter with a memorable statement about why you are a good fit for the present opening. Include a call to action that encourages the reader to follow up on your application. Should they want to interview you and learn more about how you could fit into their company. Now here you can see an example of an entry-level cover letter as with the format which we have discussed. Here you can see a contact information in detail, the salutation. Here the purpose of the letter is being mentioned, qualifying skills are being included, and lastly the conclusion is there. Moving on to the next, we'll be covering job inquiry letter. If you are seeking a job with a specific employer, they may be always to find positions in the addition to just looking at the public job listings or postings into the newspapers or into the job portals. You can be proactive in your job search by sending a job inquiry letter to the relevant individuals to express your interest in joining their team. This is a great way to network with the other professionals in your field and create a positive support with the companies you are interested in working with. So let's see the details of the inquiry letter. Addressing the letter of inquiry to a specific individual at the company will help you ensure the letter reaches the right person. Finding a relevant contact person shows your research skills and dedication to the employer. The individual at the company will be impressed to receive a letter addressed to them instead of a generic to whom it may concern. Finding a contact person may be a little difficult. So, to find a good contact person, you can ask your friends, family, or a professional network if they know anyone who works at the company. Next, you need to create a memorable introduction. Once you have determined whom to address your job inquiry letter, you are ready to start writing it. Beginning by writing an introduction that will establish a connection with your contact at the company. If you don't know the individual, briefly explain how you found them and why you are writing. If someone you know gave you their contact, state your mutual connection to build an instant rapport. If you have been following this contact or company for a while, be sure to mention that to demonstrate your knowledge and passion for this particular company. Here is an example. As a recent postgraduate in finance, I'm eager to find a position where I can learn and grow with the best in the finance industry. I have been following your company for some time and I'm impressed with your team ability to maintain a steady financial portfolio growth and provide a stellar trading advices to your clients. I am highly motivated and ready to join your team as a financial analyst when the opportunity arises. This can justify the candidate. Here next you need to highlight your skills. In the second paragraph, write about your skills, qualifications and experience that makes you a strong candidate for this company. Explain how your skill set would be an asset to the employer. This should be a brief summary to get their attention and encourage them to request further information about you. Here, you need to research the company to understand their needs, strengths, and weaknesses. If you identify an area where they could improve, politely state this in your letter and elaborate on how you would improve this specific area. Avoid giving away too much information so that they will need to hire you to gain full access to the strategy. So, as an example, during the college, I completed 2 internships at financial institutions and a bank where I honed my financial accounting, auditing, investment banking and trading skills. I dedicated my senior project to studying the stock market and determining the optimal time of trade, buy or sell. I have a meticulous attention to detail, especially in logging accurate accounting books, and I'm proactive in completing highly qualitative work ahead of deadlines. This next we'll be moving ahead with the brief conclusion. After establishing a connection with the covering your relevant skills, briefly conclude your job inquiry letter by letting the employer know how you would be like to meet with them and thanking them for their time. You can also include the best way for them to contact you if desired, but your contact information should also be at the top of the page into your header. After writing a strong final statement, choose a professional and polite closing. Few of the examples are: sincerely, regards, respectfully, best, and thank you. Friends, now we will be discussing about sales letters. The purpose of sales letter is to give maximum public exposure to the newly introduced or changed services, offerings, products, and business dealings prior to the implementation. The advantage of sending a sales letter includes increased sales, business engagement of new buyers, boosting mutual trust between buyers and sellers, provision of beforehand notice to the expected changes to avoid any buyer inconveniences, development of strong links, business follow-ups, and generation of maximum traffic. Along with this, these are the other reasons why one should write a sales letter, is that to introduce new product, announce new services, announce new or limited offers, to inform consumers with accountancy of business changes. As for the inclusions are concerned, a typical sales letter includes the introduction, wherein this will be the starting of your letter, making sure to fit all the facts about the company's history, experience, expertise, market demands, and services in a concise and brief manner. Next comes the statement of purpose, a one line description of the subject, that is products, offer, or services of the letter, followed by the description. This will be the middle and the most tricky part of your letter. Avoid showing overconfidence, exaggeration, and overexcitement in this part. You need to focus only on the subject of the letter, describe why consumers should invest into your offers, and explain how your company promises quality. Be as specific as and engaging as possible by adopting a conversational and persuasive style. Make sure that your style of writing matches your target audience. Then the statement of benefit talks about the perks and advantages that your particular subject of sales letter offers to its customers. Last is the pitch, wherein the whole sales letter is written for basically this part in which you pursue the readers in enough to contact your company with the further details on the letter subjects. So this was an example. You can see a sample letter by the pizza parlor. Next we will be talking about the purchase order. Friends, it would be the first document that is created when a particular business transaction takes place. The purchase order is written by a customer who likes a product and approves an order to purchase the service or product from the company. Order letters are kind of business letters that are written by the customer or a client when purchasing a vendor's product or requesting that company's services. These are the standard elements. The letterhead of the company sending the order letter that makes the order official. The date of the letter is sent. The recipient's name, title, name of the company and its specific address, the salutation, body of the order letter, and the closing. Along with that, the sender names with his or her signature. Next, we'll be discussing about the tips which are essentially required to go ahead with this purchase order, because when purchase order is to be written, you need to decide the purchase of the product. Therefore, refer to a former communication of the order which has already taken place. Maintain details about the order, example, important specifications. Describe the mode of payment, how the customer need to pay. Mention about the advance payment in case the terms and conditions are notified. Be precise about the location and time of delivery. Use professional and formal language. So, along with that, you need to keep it brief and direct to the point. The next letter is the letter of adjustment. A letter written in response to the complaint of the customer is called as adjustment letter. It is written when a seller or a delivery authority writes back to the customer in regard to their complaint. The official format, it is used to explain what is the nature and urgency of the customer's complaint and how it can be resolved by the company. The letter informs the customers whether his or her complaint has been accepted or been rejected. Also, the refund amount he or she is eligible for and how to obtain that specific amount. Now we need to understand how to write this specific adjustment letter. Here initially you need to organize the material. Now for this, all the previous correspondence between client and the seller, his complaint copy, company policies regarding the complaint featured, and any other relevant documents, etc. should be first obtained and organized by the writer. Next comes the admittance of the mistake. This is very, very important, friends. Here, if your company is at fault, immediately accept the mistake and proceed to rectify the mistake. The customer's demand, if rational, should be completed. You cannot deny the mistakes because the consumer courts nowadays are very, very strict. Next comes the reply, but it should be a positive reply. Sympathize with your client, listen to his or her woes, and maintain a positive tone and attitude towards the client to ensure that the satisfaction of the customer is most important for you. Next comes the diplomacy, because this is a letter wherein if you go with the notion of the customer all the time, possibilities are there that company may be in loss. So here you need to have a diplomatic approach wherein when the client is not right and his demands are not justifiable, then the seller needs to be diplomatic so that even after refusal, your client remains satisfied. Explain the policy of company and terms in layman's language so that the consumer can easily understand your terms and conditions. Take politely and don't refuse bluntly or rudely. Next, the most important aspect that is essentially required to be in the adjustment letter is the politeness. Politeness as a virtue is encouraged by all the customer care services. Even when your client is at fault, you need to satisfy him while also maintaining your stance. In this respect, politeness comes in handy. A polite reply goes a long way in promoting the company's reputation and name. It should be written always on a letterhead that makes it official. Before sending the letter, you need to go for proofreading, because always proofread the letter so to save your company's embarrassment in front of the client. Fact should be checked and correlated with the systems properly. Next is the letter of dispatch, wherein you need to understand that this is one of the formal letters confirming that you have dispatched the items to the reader. Referring to the previous communication, mention what and when the item is mailed. Mention what the reader should do if the items is not received by him or her. Also include what should be done if there is any problem with the items. State your next course of action. End with a kind note. This is an example wherein you can see the dispatch letter, wherein it is very clearly mentioned about the date, time, and the specific mode of delivery with a very decent closing. Next, we have claim letters. It's also a type of customer relation letter, when the purpose is to express a complaint and request specific action. You must have both. Let's choose a direct and indirect approach. Direct is the best for routine claim letters. Claim is backed by guarantee, warranty, or contract, reputation, or any of the specific document. Indirect is the best for arguable claim letters, wherein the claim is debatable or unusual. Here, use a professional, rational, and if possible, positive tone, and never use the hostile, negative, or an emotional tone. Clearly describe a product or service with necessary details. Explain the problem with details. Purpose of a fair, precise, and appropriate request or the specific adjustment you are looking for, and present in an explicit deadline. The letter of adjustment is also again a customer relation letter, wherein the purpose is to respond to the claim with a solution. When a claim is escalated, this would be a solution for that escalation. Here it works on to reconcile the solution and restore the customer's trust into a company. We have to be very, very prompt and courteous and decisive as of the adjustments are concerned. Use a positive or a neutral tone without being regarding or taking full blame on you or putting it on the customer. Now, there are two types of adjustment letters. One is yes adjustment, one is no adjustment. Let us see yes adjustment letter, wherein it starts with an apology and admit a claim is justified. Now, when the complaint is raised from the customer's end, and if the complaint is genuine, then you need to apologize in the beginning. Quickly present the favorable news for the customer so that the customer's mindset becomes positive and the customer retention can be achieved. Here you need to specifically state how you are correcting the problem. Explain what happened and why. What are the possible technical issues that might have created this problem has to be explained in detail. Conclude with a friendly and positive tone. In case of no adjustment letter, lot of complaints customers do escalate, but some of the complaints raised by customers are not genuine or not supposed to be as per the policy which is clearly mentioned in the terms and conditions. So therefore, we need to write no adjustment letters. So here you need to use an indirect speech. You need to thank the customer for writing, though the specific claim is not valid. Still, then you need to maintain this. Restate that the customer's problem, how the problem was there, and explain what happened and why without pleasing or blame. So don't blame the customers directly. So therefore you need to have an indirect approach. Clearly state discussion without hedging. Link no to the benefits. Very specifically and very diplomatically you have to say this. Conclude with the concise and gracious statements to leave open the door for the future business. Otherwise, most of the times the no adjustment letter may end up the customer relationship, which is very fatal to the company, and that should be avoided.